What's up, traders? 3 total trades today. Curious what breaking the rules looks like? Well, let's get to it. All right, traders, so real quick before we get into the live trades, I just wanted to show you FTCH. This was a good trade. We got the breakthrough previous resistance and the whole dollar of 13, and we decided to take a short position here at 13.14. We got the breakdown through 13, and we followed our rules, waiting for our take profit at half R since we only got that single entry, and that was a winner. So over to PNN real quick before we get into the live trade. We followed the rules on the first trade. We accepted the risk. We only ended up with one entry here, and then it decided to break high of day, so we cut it, right? It was perfectly fine. However, since this is still a new strat, we actually ran into something that we didn't think about when it came to this. What if you take your first entry, and when you're going to make your second entry to get to max size, that's actually already at the max loss you're looking at per trade? What do you do? Well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a rule set in place. And so I just kind of went with it and said, well, we're getting the intense move, the extension away. I'm going to just hit the add button. Well, guess what? It shot right through that and went up to make new highs, and I had already broken the rule of letting it get past $25. And at this point, I started to get emotional. I hit the add button, and as you can see, as it came back down a little bit, we decided to take some off, and we decided to accept the risk if it didn't want to break down through 31.50, that if it went high a day again, we were going to cut it. And as you can see, we got punished for it. It went back up, hit high of day, didn't quite, it was a fake out, came back down, and it would have taken us out, as you'll see in the live trade. We had our order sitting down here at 31, I think it was 33. So a lot of valuable lessons to be learned from this specific trade on PENN, and that's all we can do is learn from it and move forward. So without ado, here's the live trade. We're going to start it there. It didn't really pop through like I thought it would. So now we're just kind of looking for that half R if it only wants to give it to us. We'll look to add if it does pop through, but that did not pop through like I thought it would. I'd like to see this try 13. Put an order out there at 30.21 on PENN just in case it wants to go down there while we're not paying 100% attention to it. I think that should be about where our take profit would be. FTCH hasn't really given us that move through 13 like we wanted. I probably should have been in this before 13, but I kind of pulled it up as it was not where I wanted it. Kind of my fault there. Coming down. So yeah, it looks like we almost timed that pretty perfectly. We just have to get this to come down. Put the order right where our half R would be for a one entry. I think we're a little bit lower. See if we can't get it to come down just a bit more. Obviously got my finger on the button here. We can go back to it for now since nothing else is really calling our name. See if it wants to come down. So we're right there almost. One more tick would put us there. So we actually only needed 29 or 30, which it kind of keeps hitting there. Let's put it up at 27. I wasn't trying to be greedy. I was just putting it there because we were watching FTCH. Right, so now we're coming back up. So this is kind of the scenario we were talking about. Our average is at 47. The high got to 53. This looks very bullish now. I guess we should try to put our stop in here, right? Might have to do it manually. It's like I don't want to take my finger off the button just in case it shoots up. I was going to try to add there to get the full size, but the way the chart looked, it looked very much like it wants to go through. A little spready too. There goes FTCH back up. See if we get that 13 pop on that one. I'm going to go ahead and put our stop in here for this one if it lets us. Actually going to make this a range order, but at least now we have the stop in. 30.27, 30.53. All right, so now we got our range order in there. We'll just let that one go. FTCH is kind of doing its thing. God, the spread on that is not great. I saw the bid come up a little bit. We're going to start this one here. Looks like we got stopped out of PENN there. Wanted to see if this would get up closer to 1340 if we wanted to get an add. So HIMX didn't really do what we wanted it to. Sitting here, we're in FTCH, seeing if it wants to move up to give us an add up there towards 1340. It's kind of just sitting here in limbo at the moment. Spread's kind of crappy here on FTCH, that's for sure. I wanted to try to chase my add down if I saw it failing, if it didn't want to bust through. So now we need to get through 13, unfortunately. We would need 50 cents on 50 shares, so it would only be 25 cents. So we would need 12.90-ish. That kind of sucks because if we would have got our add there, we would have pretty much been done. Actually, we still would have needed the 13 flush. Yeah, this is going to be kind of a crappy one because now we're kind of stuck where we have to cut at high of day. I missed the add on the way down. We could have took some off there at 13, but if it wants to go through, see if it wants to give us a quick flush down to this area. That should be about our half R. A little frustrating. There's the move through 12. See if we can get down there into 1288 is where we're sitting. Need that one more nice little push down towards VWAP. I'm going to put a range order in here because I need to get some applesauce. 1288 and high of day right now is 13 30, so we'll do 13.31. And the chart looks good for us. It's just trying to use this previous resistance, which is 12.95, as support, which is expected. But obviously we need this to go through that. to get our fill. We're accepting the risk there. Kind of sucked how we managed the trade up top when we first got in. We didn't get the ad. I was looking to chase the ad down, which we would be out of the trade now because we would have only needed the 25 cents. Well, technically, I guess we would still need, because it actually would have lowered our average, so we would actually still need a little bit more down towards like 85. So that's not even the case. It would just be we'd be full size instead of just one entry. And this thing does seem to have just kind of given up. There's almost like no volume. It's like part of me almost wants to try to let this go a little bit lower if it does start to break down. Now, if FTCH does want to try good old sloppy seconds, give us a pop back up into this area like 13, like pretty much where our average is, that's something I'd be willing to take an add on to get the additional risk, and then just obviously still risking off high of day. That would be one way to get full size as well, looking for sloppy seconds. What did we get to there? 93 was the lowest. So we need to break that 93 area. Looking for FTCH to break down. Just looking for that quick flush to give us our half R for our single entry. Just needed to get down through 90. If we can get down through 93, it looks like that seems to be the key area. If we get through there, I think we'll get down to 90 at least, and then all we need is that little sell-off and we'd be good. Doesn't really look like there's much in the way. There's 94, kind of just doing its thing here. It is holding under 13, which is good. I mean, the chart definitely looks good for us. We just need it to actually pan out. Tim, which of the scanner options do you watch? What do you mean? Like, what am I looking at on the scanners? The very first thing I look at is obviously the symbol, and then I look at the float. And then sometimes I'll look at the price, but usually I just pull the chart up based off of the float. FTCH couldn't look any more weak than it does. Just need it to follow through. And there we go. We got that flush that we were looking for. So we got filled there on FTCH, and it was exactly what we wanted. Figured it might go a little bit lower to at least view app to test it. But again, one entry, we'll just take our half R and be happy with it. So watching PENN here as a possible re-entry. PENN, the volume is actually kind of dying off as it's trying to climb here. Here it goes, trying 31 again. Letting the setup come to us. Here we go. See if we can get up towards 30. All right, we're going to start this at, we got 22. The thought process here is obviously we'd be looking for the 31 test after the push through, use it as support. All right, so we're coming up to that 50 area. All right, so we got the pop through 50. All right, so we're going to get our ad here. Now, this is kind of putting us in a weird spot because it kind of popped right up there. So we're going to see what it wants to do here at 50 if it wants to try to come back down. If not, it's going to put us in a little bit of an awkward spot here. So this was my fault. I should already be out of this trade, guys. I'm going to see if we get a little bit of a retrace. You don't ever want to cut when it's just spiking, but fuck me, look at this thing. I definitely just broke my rules. I'm a little annoyed with things going on in the house. I should not have even probably been in this trade. It wasn't on the intensity scanner. All right, guys, definitely do not do what I'm doing here. This is definitely not a good one. What did we get there? 71. Again, do not do this. This is not a smart play. I just broke my rules, and it looks like it might try to bite me. Still playing the chart, but I've definitely got emotional. I broke my rules. All right, we're going to come out those ones that we added to reduce the risk. We're obviously looking for this to come back down to 31.50 and retest it and hopefully go through. Our average is sitting at 31.48. All right, guys, we're just going to accept the risk on this one. If it wants to go high a day, we're out. If it wants to come down and break 50 and give us our fill down there, we'll take it. But we obviously broke the rules on this one. If it does stop us out, we're going to lose more than we should on any given trade. And as you can see, we definitely broke our rules just looking at the chart. It kind of put us in a weird spot. We should have just cut when it went high of day in retrospect here on the starter position, but it was kind of put us in limbo a little bit because when it didn't really pull back at all. So when that happens, the strat, and it's kind of a judgment call, that's part of where this can be a judgment call, and it's not looking good for us here, and we should be stopped out. Yeah. All right, guys, so I did that to myself. Nobody to blame but myself there. That's a tough one. Broke the rules, and that's what happens. And I did it again as far as not following the scanners. I did it again. That bites me in the ass so many times. I'm not blaming anybody but myself, but I'm realizing I need to set that rule hardcore. I need to set the rule hardcore that I do not take anything that's not off the scanners, because it costs me every single time. It's not the highest probability setup. It's that simple. If I'm not taking something off the scanner that's a high probability setup, why am I taking it, right? I basically took this because it was just a little bit extended. I mean, looking at this, it wasn't even that extended. I was just playing what I thought was going to be an obvious retest of a certain point, and it wasn't. All right, that was my trades on PENN and FTCH. If you have any additional questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the live stream. Peace.